every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello again, I am Nifemi Oguntoye with the CoreTV News this hour. The Supreme Court has dismissed a suit by 16 northern states through which they had sought an order compelling the federal government to pay them about 7.039 billion naira as compensation for some assets of the northern region taken over by the federal government in 1977. The court, in a unanimous judgment, held that the northern states delayed in filing the suit and as such had been caught by expiration of time. This, according to the Apex Court, was because the suit was filed outside the 6 years allowed under Section 7, subsection 1 of the Limitation Law, Cap 122 of the Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 1990. The lead judgment was prepared by Justice Mary Peter Odili, but read on Friday by Justice Olukayode Ariwola. The Apex Court held that the plaintiffs ought to have filed the court action immediately after the federal government was said to have admitted its indebtedness to them through a letter dated July 27, 1983. She upheld the AGF's argument that the course of action had been caught by the statute of limitation and thereby denying the court the jurisdiction of powers to hear the case. The states are Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Jigawa, Kaduna, Kano, and Katsina, and others are Kebbi, Kogi, Kwara, Sokoto, Taraba, Yobe, and Zamfara. The Adamawa State House of Assembly says it would not be deterred by the High Court order restraining it from continuing impeachment proceedings against Governor Murtala Nyako and his deputy Bala James Ngilari. The court had earlier rejected the application of the legislators seeking to publish notice of allegations, which they defied.
2 weeks ago, a two-thirds majority in the Adamawa State House of Assembly signed impeachment papers against Governor Murtala Nyako and his deputy. Attempts to serve them with a notice met a brick wall, and the members resolved to go public 7 days after the proceeding was initiated. The High Court sitting in Yola kicked against the move as prayed by the All Progressives Congress. The State House of Assembly appears not to be bothered by the latest development.
This is a constitutional matter. There are so many options. Whether they decide to stay away for as long as possible, the options as enshrined in the Constitution are still available there. The Constitution is still there, and we look at the other alternatives and see what can be done about it.
While some residents have faulted the action of the High Court on constitutional grounds, a Yola-based lawyer says the ruling is in order. He said the court relied on the judgment of the Apex Court in a similar case, describing their action as null and void.
There is a Supreme Court authority that says for proper service to be deemed proper, for service to be deemed proper against a governor in an impeachment proceedings, he must be served personally, not by substituted means. So their prayer for an order for substituted service to serve the governor and his deputy with the impeachment notice has not been answered.
Edgar Amos, a public commentator, analyzes the scenario playing out in the state.
I don't think it is in anybody's interest. Both the proponents of the impeachment and the opponents of the impeachment are now in a very anxious state. I don't think the state deserves that. And the whole society is in a state of anxiety. You find people trying to exploit the division in the society along religious and tribal lines. This is quite unfortunate.
Whatever becomes of the case, this development has brought to fore the complex situation on ground. The three defected APC legislators have been restrained from participating in the proceedings pending the determination of a court order.
President Goodluck Jonathan has brushed off suggestions that his silence on the Chibok abduction is a sign of inaction or weakness. He says he has not been speaking on efforts to find the abducted girls in order not to compromise investigation. This was the thrust of an article he wrote in an international newspaper, The Washington Post. Jonathan added that nothing is more important to him than finding and rescuing the 19 girls who have been missing for more than 2 months. He was also emphatic that the government and security forces would spare no resources until the girls are back and their captors brought to justice. Meanwhile, President Jonathan has assured Nigerians the perpetrators of the latest bomb attack in Abuja and their sponsors would be brought to book. He also wants the citizenry to cope with the inconveniences of security measures targeted at checking insurgent activities. President Jonathan said this after a visit to the bomb scene and one of the hospitals where survivors are receiving treatment.
Long before the president's convoy arrived in Emma Plaza, no one was allowed close to the bomb scene by security operatives. And on arrival, the president was taken to the exact spot where the car bomb went off. All through the briefing, President Jonathan was in a pensive mood, occasionally shaking his head. From Emma Shopping Plaza, the convoy made a short trip to the Metama Hospital. Here, there were words of comfort, even for this survivor who told the president he was a roadside hawker in need of a job.
Now the chaka at the sensor for Barnes Plaza. I don't have a job. See what you have got here. 2 hours yesterday that I can't sleep.
And after going around the hospital wards, President Jonathan declared that the bombers won't escape justice.
Sure, they will sail through, will share the pains of the people that have been directly affected, the pains of their families, but will surely pass through this ugly phase of history. The perpetrators, these who are directly involved and those who sponsored them, surely be brought to book.
He also wants Nigerians to be prepared to live with the inconveniences of extra security measures.
I will use this opportunity to continue to plead with our citizens that under such situations, security operatives will come up with different options that sometimes will create some inconvenience for us. Instead of condemning them, let us bear. We all bear some pains, from the highest to the least. Because as a president, I may not go to everywhere I would have loved to go. Those are some of the challenges I have to face. So even for our citizens, under such conditions, there will be some level of restrictions and some pains. Instead of shouting and insulting the security operatives, let's give them maximum cooperation, give them relevant information.
And as usual, President Jonathan added that terrorists and terrorism will soon be things of the past in the country.
Security operatives have now explained why suspects arrested at the scene of the Abuja bombing were quickly taken into custody. Police spokesman Frank Oba said the situation was too tense to hold on to vital suspects.
Arrest is made. You don't delay. You will not hold back the arrest and be looking out for cameras. It is against the core, the very heart of our trainings. We are not in search of publicity. We are out on a very dangerous terrain, serving our fatherland. So at that point in time, you want to secure the suspect. You want to be sure that if there are other explosives around, you're able to detonate them safely, control detonation. You want to be sure that you take the suspect as quickly as possible away from the scene.
The federal government wants Nigerians to be wary of false alarms and rumors circulating on social media networks. Coordinator of the National Information Center, Michael Mary, specifically noted that tales of an impending attack on schools were meant to cause panic.
Terror alarm. The center is aware of false alarm and rumors in form of text messages being circulated in the social media with a view to creating panic and anxiety among citizens to the effect that some schools are being targeted for attack in the FCT. While we urge parents and school managements to be calm, cautious, and more vigilant, we wish to state that the security agencies are working round the clock and have taken measures to ensure that schools are safe and academic activities continue uninterrupted and unhindered.
The Defense Headquarters claims that no fewer than 50 suspected terrorists died during a raid on a makeshift camp used by terrorists in Miyanti and Bulungu in Borno State. In a statement posted on its website, the Defense Headquarters says 53 terrorists died in the encounter, while the troops lost 2 of their men, while 5 others sustained injuries. The statement also states that the fuel dump used for storing fuel, vehicles, including Toyota Hilux trucks and 7 motorcycles, were destroyed in the raid. 15 rifles, 11 machine guns and ammunition were also seized by the troops. The military revealed that a separate raid around Duguru, near the Nigeria-Niger border by troops of the Multinational Joint Task Force, resulted in the recovery of 18 rifles, 5 general-purpose machine guns, 25 hand grenades and IED-making materials. It also says the suspected gun runner, who was apprehended during a condone and search operation, is being interrogated in connection with the seizures. The statement says 15 other suspects are being detained in Abuja after a raid that led to the recovery of 7 rifles, pistols, swords, and other weapons. CoreTV News on the hour will be back shortly after this break with more stories. To stay with us.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Glad to have her back. Outside Nigeria now, European Union leaders gave Russia 3 days to change policy on Ukraine or face the prospect of tougher sanctions, as Kiev says it will consider a ceasefire extension with pro-Moscow rebels. The 28 European Union leaders say Moscow had to take 4 steps, including a clear backing for the Ukraine government's peace plan by Monday, June 30. Meanwhile, diplomatic sources say President Petro Poroshenko, who was in Brussels to sign her historic association agreement with the EU, had decided to extend by 72 hours a ceasefire agreement with the rebels. And that wraps it on CoreTV News. These are, do join us again at the top of the hour for more stories. Coming up shortly is the Papers Review, where we'll bring you all the papers, stories making headlines on the dailies. Don't go away.